Guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. And I haven't edited a video in a while. I upload a lot of videos to just B&A Sports podcast feed, so you can just listen, and then eventually I'll just keep on skipping episodes, because editing is just a bore. It's like I want to produce really good content, that I feel like sometimes I would just make one graphic. I feel kind of lazy. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm not sure if I edited this video, but I came out with a topic saying, why can't the Giants trade back 2 spots with the Chargers if a Penei Sewell, was not going to fall down to us, a Rashawn Slater, Elijah Vera Tucker, a Christian Darrisaw, because they're scared that Minnesota Vikings may be aggressive. They're scared that maybe the Giants will take an offensive lineman. Well, that wouldn't really make sense. It'd be kind of contrary. Maybe they're scared that the Eagles may take an offensive lineman, because do you trust Andre Dillard? Do you trust Brandon Brooks, who's been injured? Do you trust Lane Johnson, who's feels like he's perennially injured? I don't know, but we feel like the Eagles are going to draft the wide receiver, but they dropped the wide receiver. I think they drafted 3 last year, and then they've got that guy at Stanford the year before in the second round. So they spent a lot of draft assets to wide receiver. Hasn't been working out. Do you think it's going to work out this year? So I made that video. It's only 2 spots. I'm like, you can grab an extra, 4th rounder, kind of like, or maybe a 4th and a 5th. But that's too late in the draft. Gabe Gettleman has said, there's the top 150, and then it starts getting a little bit shaky. Then you kind of just look at personalities more than talent. You look at a guy who's just going to be solid foundation, wife, kids maybe, or not in a broken home. A guy that's going to be a good leader. That's what you kind of look for, especially late in those rounds. You don't really have much tape. You don't have really that much time to spend with them. But a really good option would be for the Colts. Now, when I'm consistently doing my mock drafts, the Colts are stuck with Samuel Cosmi. They're stuck with Tevin Jenkins, who's more of a right tackle. They're stuck with, even sometimes Samuel Cosmi goes ahead in a lot of mock drafts. I know these are just mocks, but, and then they're stuck with Radunes. They're stuck with those stubby-armed tackles that you're not too sure that can translate to the outside. Now, you know what you have in the interior. You have Quentin Nelson, you have Ryan Kelly, and I forgot the right guard's name. Sorry. I think they got him in the same draft as Quentin Nelson. Braden Smith or something like that. But you feel like your interior is solid. You want to protect Carson Wentz. That's a big issue. Now they still have issues, I think, with wide receiver. With Kellen Moore is pretty good cornerback for them. And overall you have a solid secondary. You feel maybe an extra edge rusher. But tackle is a big question mark. Why not trade up with the New York Giants? I know it's a far fall. It is. But if you're sitting there and you go, we really like Aziz, but we don't like the value. We really like Elijah Vera Tucker, but we don't like the value here. We really like, let's say, Rashad Bateman, but we don't like the value here. I'm not too much of a Rashad Bateman fan. Let's just say that. You have Micah, but he has some personality issues. Not sure if they're going to be sold on him. So trade back 10 spots. Now, what would this be worth? I went to the trade value chart, which is usually fairly accurate. Usually if you're trading up for a quarterback, you have to pay a little bit extra, but they're not trading up for a quarterback, so it's fair value. Let's just say it's fair value, whatever. Now, it's hard to value picks for the year after. I think they say it's like a 20% reduction in value. Okay, so the Giants pick is worth 400 points more than the Colts pick. That's what it is. That's what it's figured out to be. The Colts pick in the second round is 54th pick. I know they've been trading with Carson Wentz. Their first-round pick next year, they may not even have. Carson Wentz starts 75% of the snaps. But they have a 54th pick. That's worth 360. Now, if you nab maybe a future third or something like that, you're good. You're fine. That's it. So that's what you do. Now, the Colts feel like they have a roster ready to contend. They feel they have the best roster in that division. With the Tennessee Titans, you question their defense. They only lost to Dory Jackson. They only lost a couple. They haven't really added players. They'll look at their offensive line. It's fallen apart. Taylor Lewan got injured. You're taking a look at a bunch of pieces that you're not too sure if they're gonna work. So you take a look at Jacksonville and Houston. It's self-explanatory. You want to compete for a Super Bowl. You've been on the fringe. You've been 10-6. You've been, with Jacoby Brissett. You're like, but now you feel like you have Carson Wentz. Get him a left tackle. You don't want him pressured. Trade up. And with that pick, I have them selecting Christian Darrisaw, a pure left tackle, a guy that I compare a lot to Mekhi Becton. Maybe a little bit lazy at some points. Maybe I think he's gonna be fine. I think we're overanalyzing him at this point. He's a thick dude. He has a strength. Not the flightest of feet, but he gets the job done. He gets to. I saw Tom Grassi mock Christian Darrisaw to us. That's the dumbest take. It's probably worse than the Trey Lance pick. Yeah, no, it's probably worse than the Trey Lance pick. To us. So at least, we developed a quarterback at Daniel Jones last year. At least it's like, I can go. No, I don't understand Christian Darrisaw at all. But yeah, so let's get into the rest of the mock. So at this point, you got Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. They fall off the board. You're looking at maybe even Rashad Bateman not falling down to you with Washington. That's a question. As far as linebackers, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, he may be taken by the Redskins or Washington football team, whatever you want to say. You take a look at, let's say, guards. It's too early for a guard. Elijah Vera Tucker still may be there, but the Vikings could probably take him. So now you're looking at, I could do a specific scenario, but the most likely candidates that are going to be of value that fall down to us are the edge guys. Kwity Paye, Azeez Ojulari. Now, Kwity Paye, I don't like his edge talent. I think we need a guy who can win around the edge. Azeez can do that. I said he's not going to really provide enough value. I have him like a second-round value because I feel like you can find a guy like that in the second round because we found a guy like Lorenzo Carter like that in the second round. I know, in the third round. Like, I compare their games a little bit, but they can back up into coverage. Azeez is just a smaller framed guy, and I feel like he could fit with our team. I'm starting to kind of now think that Jason Owe is just too much of a project for me. You have to like reconstruct him. He doesn't have a bull rush. Oh, he has a bull rush, and that's all he has. He tries to win around the edge. He kind of has a natural bend, but he's kind of like, I'm Jason Owe. Look at me go. But you can kind of develop him behind Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Ximines. That could be an interesting option. I just think it's a little bit too rich at pick number 21 for me. And as far as other edges, Jalen Phillips, the injury card is just too much, but he's the best. If anybody tells you he's not the best edge rusher in this draft, they're lying to you. As far as pre-injury, he's the best. And maybe that's the upside we need. We're talking about analytics. We're talking about taking risks. Take a risk in the first round. You're already picking at 21. We have a 42nd and we have a 54th. All right, so and in this simulation, I'm taking Azeez Ojulari. Rashad Bateman would be interesting. Terrace Marshall would be interesting. And those guys won't be probably there at 42. Maybe one of them falls, like a Terrace Marshall, Kadarius Toney. But it's a little bit too rich at 21. I'm taking Azeez Ojulari because it's rumored that we're going to take an edge defender. Now let's go to the second round. This is where your guard value is going to be. Your Quinn Miners, your Landon Dickersons, your Creed Humphreys, even though you kind of like Nick Gates at center. Now, they say we really like center, and the latest rumors are that we're going to take a wide receiver at this point. So in this scenario, I like Landon Dickerson. I really do. I don't know how far. I don't know if he's going to fall. But I'm just going to have the Giants stuck in Landon Dickerson, solidifying that offensive line. All of a sudden, offensive line looks good. And now your defensive front looks good. Now all you're really missing is a linebacker. At 54, I was taking Jamin Davis. I'm just going to do the first three picks. Jamin Davis, he still has a lot he needs to learn, but he feels like he fits the modern linebacker in the NFL. Learn with Blake Martinez. Now, Blake Martinez goes down. It's going to be somewhat interesting. You have Tay, you have Reggie Ragland. You don't really have that big buffy guy, to clog up the run. So maybe we'll have to change a little bit. Maybe you look after a guy like Nick Bolton, but he may be gone at this point. So that's my simulated mock draft. Let me know what you guys think of this scenario. We got an extra third and a future fourth or third round pick as well. You traded also out of this draft. This would be an interesting scenario. We haven't traded. Not we, but Dave Gettleman hasn't traded out of the draft in the first round ever. So it's going to be interesting. I like this scenario. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Remember, subscribe, everything like that. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.